Hi, this is Miss Pius. I just wanted to make a quick video to get you started on your assignment that you're going to work on today in lieu of or instead of the Zoom meeting. So we spent some time over the last couple of weeks looking at the shifters of demand and looking at situations and deciding how demand would be impacted. We also did the same for supply. For today's assignment, you're going to be putting those items together, those topics together. So I still give you the situation, but you're going to have to make a decision on if it is supply or demand that is being impacted. And then is supply or demand going to increase or decrease? So we're kind of going to break this down into 3 steps. So the first thing you're going to think about when you read these situations is who is going to be impacted first. All right. So given that situation, is it consumers that are going to feel the effects of that situation? Or is it going to be the businesses making the item? All right. And then remember, we talked about demand always has to do with consumers and their willingness and ability to buy a product. So if you put in the second column that it's consumers that will be affected, you know that it's going to cause a change in demand. That's why I highlighted those in the directions. And then supply, we know, is the willingness and ability of businesses to produce and sell an item. So if you put that the business is going to be affected, you know it's going to be a change in supply. Notice that I don't ask about the shifters. So the shifters are going to be helpful to think about as we go through this, but I'm not requiring you to tell me exactly what shifter is at play in this situation. All right, so we're going to look at that first situation. So it says a new synthetic rubber is developed that decreases the price of tires to motorcycle producers. What will be the impact on the motorcycle market? All right, so notice that these are the tires that are going to be used on the motorcycle. It's not like an aftermarket tire that you can go buy at like Discount Tire. All right, so the person or the group that's going to feel this price savings first is going to be the businesses, right? Because the businesses are the ones that are going to have to buy the tire to put on the motorcycle. All right, so this is going to be the businesses. All right. And then I'm also going to put the shifter here. Again, you don't need to, but we're saying that we're using this rubber in the production of the tire for the motorcycle. So this is a cost of resource question. All right. And then we know that since it's the business that's being affected, it's going to be the supply that will change. And then since this new rubber is cheaper, they're going to be able to save money on these tires. So they can either buy more tires now, or they could buy more metal for the motorcycles, but they're going to have more money to spend on resources. So they'll be able to make more motorcycles. So the supply of motorcycles will decrease. Sorry, I don't know what happened on my screen there. All right. So for the second situation, it says the price of French fries has increased. What impact will this have on the ketchup market? So you have to think about who is going to be buying both ketchup and French fries, right? So that's going to be the consumer. And there is some confusion sometimes about like, why is it the consumer? So this is, again, where it's helpful to think about the shifter. All right. So if those two things are almost always going to be purchased together, that's going to make them complements. All right. Sometimes students do say that it's actually the business that's going to be affected, and they think that it's cost of resources. But it's helpful to think through the fact that French fries are not a resource that are going to be used to help make the ketchup, right? So French fries are not a resource to make ketchup. So it is going to be a complement instead. So since the consumers are being affected first, we know that the demand is going to be what changes. And then since the price of French fries has increased, you're not going to buy as many French fries anymore. Remember, that's the law of demand. So if you're not buying as many French fries, you're not going to need as much ketchup. So the demand for ketchup will decrease. All right. And then looking at that third one, I'll get you started. So the cost of apple pie has increased. What impact will this have on the pumpkin pie? So remember, those things are substitutes. So I'm going to put that there. And then substitutes always relates to demand. All right. So we know that it's going to be the consumers that are affected first, which means that this is going to be a change in demand. And the demand, you guys